Arcane Season 1. Does it have the greatest opening to a TV show of all time? Hello again, ladies and gents, and welcome to another intro review. In today's review, we've come to discuss the opening credits to the Netflix TV show Arcane. Arcane is a beautifully artistic and action-packed animated show with an excellent story to follow. While this TV show is based off of the characters from the worldwide popular video game League of Legends, this show is not just for video game fans. There are many people who've never played League of Legends in their life yet love Arcane and its deep story so much. While we could have a long review about each episode of Arcane and the emotional roller coaster that we experienced throughout the entire season, that is not the purpose of this review. Our review is about the opening intro or opening credits to each episode of Season 1. Does this intro captivate its audience right off the bat and make viewers want to see more? Is this an intro we'll remember for years to come? Well, we're about to find out. To help answer these questions, we will be looking at 3 different categories, and those categories are the music or sound, the storytelling, and how captivating as a whole the intro is. We will be giving each of these categories a score out of 10, and then adding all of these scores up to get a final average score. And if there's something extra special about this intro that doesn't fit into any of these categories, but helps to elevate it in some way, then we will be awarding bonus points as well. So sit back and relax and enjoy another Too True SMEG review. As always, we will be starting with the music, and in this intro we get to hear the upbeat hit song by Imagine Dragons, Enemy. Let's begin by talking about the positive with this song choice. Arcane's use of Enemy is a bold and quite fitting choice that captures a common theme seen throughout this show, which include conflict, identity, and perhaps the most significant theme, betrayal. As one progresses throughout each episode of the show, it seems every character we follow has many enemies, each for different reasons, which makes this song choice relevant of everyone wanting to be your enemy. Now, in regards to how the song itself actually sounds, it's safe to say that the song pumps its audience up quite well for the next episode. While we hear the upbeat chorus, we all get this feeling of excitement and adrenaline, getting us ready for an action-packed adventure. Now, the beginning of the song is a bit different though, and lacks the same high-intensity vibe as the chorus. While the first 10 to 15 seconds or so aren't as intense as the rest of the song, those first few seconds could be just boring enough for audiences to not even bother with what the rest of the song has to offer. However, what is nice about the beginning of the song is that it provides a slow build-up to the chorus, which is when we do get the explosion of high-intensity music. So this aspect of the song isn't necessarily a huge negative, because it does work to complement the chorus beautifully. But one negative about the song that is a bit disappointing, and that seriously bothered me personally, especially for the first time watching this intro, is that the song ends so abruptly. It's always a good thing when audiences such as myself want to continue hearing more of the opening song. But the ending of this intro is very abrupt and can make audiences disappointed that there isn't more. Before concluding and giving the score for music, there is one more thing worth discussing. Imagine Dragons is a popular band that has many hit songs. If you watched my video from 2 weeks ago on the opening scene to Deadpool and Wolverine, you'll remember that we gave a slight knock to the music because a hit pop song was chosen, which tends to have certain negative effects on viewers. A hit alternative rock song is also used in this intro, but this is different in that the song Enemy was made specifically for the show Arcane. This wasn't a song everyone was already familiar with or had already fallen in love with, which makes this original song authentic. On top of that, Imagine Dragons had written a song previously for League of Legends in the past with their Warrior song back in 2014. So the fact that League of Legends again wanted to use Imagine Dragons, keeping things consistent, and the fact that this song was originally written for Arcane only helps to elevate the song, bringing the final music score to 9 out of 10. Now let's take a look at the storytelling. As I reflect back on the first time ever watching this intro, I recall being quite confused in all honesty. Personally, I consider myself to be a casual player of League of Legends. I usually play at least once a week and know many of the popular champions, but I have no idea what the actual lore of League of Legends is. So when watching the intro for the very first time, it was exciting to see characters like Jinx, Vi, and Heimerdinger, but there was a struggle in trying to piece together all of these other characters and what everything else meant, or what the message the story is that they're trying to convey to their audience. Before watching any of the actual shows, it's hard to make out what's happening. For example, why are these 2 girls inside this dude's hands? Is he controlling them? Is he trying to capture them? Is he caring for them? It's not entirely clear. Furthermore, we see different characters in their fighting stances, but aren't entirely sure who they're fighting or what they're fighting against. There's a lot of ambiguity here in interpreting these characters with no context whatsoever. The one thing that is clear for even people who've never played League of Legends and know nothing about the show is that these two girls standing back to back are likely sisters. Now, as one watches even just 2 or 3 episodes of this show, these characters and their actions make sense, and the overall story being told is quite clear. Vander is the man with the 2 sisters in his hands, and it represents him caring for them, watching over them. These 2 ladies fighting each other at the end are the 2 sisters at the beginning, and now they're grown up and clearly have some sort of conflict against each other. And this man reading the book is a scientist who is continually trying to research and learn more. The fact that the opening intro means a lot more as one watches the actual show makes this a difficult intro to rate. For example, let's take a look at The Last of Us, an intro I rated a few weeks ago. The intro does make more sense after one has watched the show, but it's not like there are huge revelations or big pieces of information given in the show itself that helps us in understanding the story being told in the intro. It pretty much means the same thing for us before and after we've seen the show. The Arcane intro is different in that it means a whole lot more after we've seen the show, which in this case does help elevate the storytelling in the intro quite a bit and successfully helps audiences want to keep watching more of the show. For example, a few episodes in, you quickly learn who all of these characters are except for this person with the mask. We see them in episode 4, but don't learn who they are until later on, which makes it so audiences want to keep watching to learn more and more about the small details in this intro. In conclusion, the ambiguity hurts in the initial watch of the intro, but can be deciphered the more one watches the show, which is a positive. So for all of these reasons, the score we will be giving for storytelling is 8.5 out of 10. And finally, we've reached perhaps the most important category of them all. How captivating as a whole is the intro? Well, the first 2 categories always contribute to the captivating score in some way, which we've discussed in depth already. Without being too repetitive, the enemy song by Imagine Dragons is not boring, gives off a mysterious tone at the beginning, which is always intriguing, and the chorus in conjunction with the still frames of the 3D characters and their epic fighting actions syncs perfectly well and grasps our attention beautifully. And as we've discussed in the storytelling, the more we watch the show, the more we want to pay attention to the intro. But perhaps the most captivating aspect of this intro, and truly the entire show as a whole, is the artwork and animation style. Very few intros are actual pieces of art that help convey certain feelings and themes like this intro does. The use of bold, painterly textures and dynamic lighting evokes the beauty and brutality of the world in which we get to learn about these characters. And one thing that is really hard to notice and pinpoint but is amazing at grabbing our attention is that the fractured imagery helps to symbolize the fractured relationships our characters are in. Furthermore, the montage of the shifting figures and action shots creates a sense of urgency and tension, which again reinforces the theme of conflict and fractured relationships. The artwork conveys these different feelings, but does so in a way where it's almost like a puzzle for us to piece together and figure out each time we watch it. Now, are there any negative aspects to this intro? In racking my brain, reading different reviews, and visiting Reddit threads, the only thing I could come up with takes us back to the storytelling aspect. The first time we watch this intro, we may be extremely confused by a lack of knowledge of these characters, causing us to tune out a bit, making us bored or uninterested. But only slightly. That fact alone really has a small impact when it comes to the captivating. So the final score we will be giving the captivating score is 9.5 out of 10. So in conclusion, when we add all of these scores up, we get a total of 27 out of 30, which averages out to 9 out of 10. An amazing score for sure, and the highest score we've given to a TV show thus far. Well, there you have it, a full review of the intro to League of Legends Arcane Season 1. If you enjoyed this review, please consider leaving a like and maybe even subscribing. It definitely helps the channel grow and is certainly appreciated. And if you disagreed with this analysis, please feel free to even leave a dislike and let me know in the comments where you disagreed. And lastly, if you're curious about all the reviews we've done so far, there's a spreadsheet in the description you can click on to see all of our rankings. Well, thank you again for the support and for sticking around for another Too True SMEG review. Until next time.